On a flat screen, phasmophobia is spooky and fun. In VR, it is something that sits in your chest for days. You are physically walking through a dark house, holding a torch, speaking out loud, asking a ghost to show itself, and sometimes it answers. The spirit box whispers your actual name back at you, and your entire body goes cold before your brain even processes what just happened. What makes this brutal is the uncertainty. You never know where the ghost is. You never know when it decides to hunt. And there is one specific ghost type that does not chase you. It studies you. It learns exactly when you feel safe, and then it moves. Most horror games try to scare you. This one succeeds. And in VR, it does not just succeed, it destroys you. You know Freddy's. You grew up with Freddy's. You thought you were ready for Freddy's. You were not. Because seeing Bonnie's face fill your entire vision at 2 in the morning is a completely different experience than watching it on a flat screen. Your brain cannot tell the difference between real and fake anymore. That is the whole problem. The game throws you into classic FNAF scenarios, security offices, vent repairs, parts and service rooms, but now you are physically looking around with your own head. You are physically reaching out to close doors. Your hands are shaking in real life, and you have not even noticed yet. The animatronics do not just appear on a screen anymore. They appear in your space, your room, your air. What makes this one brutal is how well it understands timing. The silence before the jump scare is engineered to break you down. Every creak, every flicker, every single moment of quiet is a psychological weapon aimed directly at your nervous system. And the minigames are not easy distractions either. Some of them are genuinely terrifying in their own right. Repairing Freddy's eyeballs from the inside while something watches you from a dark corner? That is not a game. That is a trauma delivery system. But here's the thing nobody warns you about. The moment that got thousands of players to rip their headsets off is not a jump scare. It's something much slower, much quieter. And when you finally see it coming, it's already too late. Resident Evil 7 was already one of the scariest games ever made. Then they put the whole thing in VR and broke thousands of adults worldwide. The Baker House in a headset is not a game environment anymore. Your brain believes it is real. The mold, the rot, the dried blood leading somewhere you do not want to follow, all of it registers as genuine threat. Jack Baker walking toward you triggers a physical instinct to back away. People have hit real walls in their real homes because their body forgot they were not actually there. The dinner scene, the garage, the old house, every set piece that was terrifying on a TV becomes a survival experience in VR. And in the final hour, when you think the worst is behind you, the game has one more thing it wants to show you. This is not about mowing down zombie hordes. This is about surviving one decision at a time in a world that stopped caring whether you make it. The physical combat is what makes this hit different. You are actually swinging, actually stabbing. You feel resistance when the blade connects. Every kill has weight because your real arms are doing the work. And the horror is not just the walkers. It is the other survivors who are just as desperate and twice as unpredictable. You always feel like you do not have enough. Weapons break, supplies run out, and every time you open the safe house door to go back outside, that dread comes right back. But the moment that genuinely shakes you is not a zombie encounter. It is realizing someone has already been inside your safe house, and you do not know when they are coming back. Officially, Alien Isolation has no VR mode. The modding community disagreed, and what they built should come with a medical warning. The xenomorph in VR triggers something primal. It is the size, the way it moves. Too tall, too fast, too wrong for something that big. And the sound, the hissing, the clicking, the way it sniffs the air through your headphones, that becomes a full body experience that no flat screen ever comes close to replicating. The creature learns your hiding spots the longer you play, so the more you think you understand it, the more dangerous it becomes. In VR, that unpredictability is genuinely destabilizing. And the face hugger sequences, most people just stop, because some fears are too biological to push through when they are happening 3 inches from your face. No combat, no story, no weapons. Just you walking through a haunted house while something the game refuses to fully show you dismantles your composure, one room at a time. Affected works because it understands denial. It keeps almost showing you something terrifying and then pulling back, over and over, until your own imagination builds something far worse than anything the developers could render. And then when it finally shows you, your brain has already made it personal. There is a specific moment in the third room that the entire community refuses to spoil. Veterans just smile when newcomers bring it up, because they remember exactly where they were standing. The question is not whether this game will scare you. The question is how far you get before your hands are too unsteady to keep going. They took every lesson from RE7 VR, rebuilt everything from scratch for PSVR 2, and created what is arguably the greatest VR horror experience on any current hardware. This is not a port. Every mechanic was rebuilt for physical interaction. The DualSense haptics make every bite, every grab, every reload something you feel in your hands. And Lady Dimitrescu in VR, standing in her full scale, filling the doorframe, turning her head to look directly at you, nothing prepares you for that moment. Your body runs before your mind catches up. The Beneviento house was already considered one of the most disturbing sections in modern gaming. In VR, with eye tracking that responds to where you are actually looking, the baby, the basement, the dollhouse, it crosses a line most horror games never find. And the haptic feedback in the final act does something no other horror game has ever attempted. This is the game that proved VR deserved to be taken seriously. And it did that partly by hiding one of the most terrifying experiences in gaming inside it. The headcrabs in VR are a problem. Anyone who says they handled the quarantine zones calmly is not being honest with you. Those things move wrong, they sound wrong, and when one launches at your face and your real body physically flinches backward, you understand exactly what VR horror can do to a person. Then there is Jeff, a blind creature in an abandoned distillery. You move through his space in complete silence, physically, in VR, while he stands close enough to touch and listens for any sound you make. That sequence alone justifies this game's place on this list, and what Alex does to the Half-Life universe in its final minutes is something players are still arguing about years later. Everything else on this list scares you in the moment. This game scares you between sessions. The Peshwork Zone is a place where reality broke. No explanation, no clear enemy, just a fractured landscape full of anomalies that kill in ways physics never intended, and remnants. Ghostly echoes of people who were there when it happened, drifting silently through the ruins. Not chasing you, not threatening you, just existing wrong. And your brain never stops asking what they are. You are completely alone. The zone rearranges itself between missions. The deeper you push toward the center, following the only thread of purpose left in a world that lost all meaning, the worse it gets. And what is waiting at the heart of Peshworks?